After collaborating with some of the biggest acts in the music industry, Guitar Hero returns to its original roundup of rockers in Warriors of Rock, a fantasy-inspired mishmash of song and narrative unlike anything the series has done before. It's a new turn for a franchise desperately in need of fresh ideas. But are the rock gods truly pleased by this effort? While Warriors of Rock is as much a music game as you'd expect from an entry in the series, it plays a little out of key with a new angle focusing curiously on story. Enter Quest Mode, this year's stand-in for the usual career track, which puts you on a pilgrimage to summon the demigod of rock to combat a terrible beast. Narrative segues in between each gig attempt to fill you in on the whys and wherefores of your journey, but the so-called quest is definitely a lot less than advertised. Essentially, you're still racking up just enough stars and streaks to move on to the next set of songs. Despite whatever manner of imagery or prose is tossed at you along the way, it never really comes together in the sort of adventure you're sold on. Quest Mode is really just a half-hearted reskin of Career Mode in the end. With progression through this quest come the titular Warriors of Rock, unlockable avatars outfitted with various bonuses like heightened multipliers, streak shields, and increased star power for you to mix and match like perks in the game's new power challenges. Hardcore score seekers may get a kick, but quite frankly the feature feels transparent and perhaps even a little desperate in its approach. It won't change the way you play, and those focused simply on jumping right into a song are bound to overlook it entirely. It's a good thing then that, in spite of all the fluff, Warriors of Rock doesn't skimp on the essentials. 90+ songs comprise the game's long and lengthy setlist. As far as secondary modes go, party play remains a top choice in casual settings, while the many returning competitive, cooperative, and creative modes are present once again. Unlocks, like new instruments, venues, and gallery art, are earned even just by goofing off in quick play, and you can still import songs from earlier versions. The new guitar developed just for the game sports a more svelte build that can be swapped out for various cosmetic frames, but the lack of the touch strip that was so heavily featured in recent Guitar Hero installments is a suspect hardware omission. In all, much of the undercarriage supporting Guitar Hero's fundamentals remains intact, though you also won't see any significant additions or improvements since the last installment. Quest Mode and its subsequent perks fall flat on their ambitions to add something meaningful to the paradigm, but if you forgive the gimmicks and judge it solely on its ability to deliver the plastic guitar experience, Warriors of Rock is about what you'd expect, for better or worse. In terms of keeping time with the music using the plastic implement of your choosing, Warriors of Rock stays true to how the series has always done it. The recent addition of open note bass hits are joined by sustains, followed by pressure-sensitive ghost notes, as seen in Expert Plus drums gameplay. There isn't much else new, and everything works pretty well. If there's anything to take issue with, it's some of the actual songs themselves. Generally speaking, the game's setlist isn't quite as strong as it's been in the past. It's unquestionably large at 90+ songs, but it's diluted as a whole by some repeats from past installments and the inclusion of a few flat-out duds that seem out of place with the series' timeless rock and roll vibe. This feels like a concession to an entirely different audience, though to its credit, there are also a few gems. Rush's 7-part rock odyssey 2112 is a treat, as is the new Megadeth composition stocked with terrifying trills and digit-busting solos. Besides a look that indulges the series' fantastical heavy metal elements a bit more than usual, Warriors of Rock's overall graphics don't tread far from what you saw in Guitar Hero 5. The stage visuals are as flashy and dynamic as ever, with some songs diving right into fully choreographed numbers, similar to the ones shown in Guitar Hero Metallica. Narration from Kiss frontman Gene Simmons and the members of Rush provide the requisite amount of camp one would expect from an epic rock and roll quest, though all the re-recorded, remastered, and generally great-sounding tracks in the game affirm that the focus is still primarily on the music. As Guitar Hero's Warriors of Rock do battle against a menacing foe, so too does the series fight to find ways to stay relevant. This latest installment's flaunted quest mode, however, does little to aid the effort, adding perks to the series' trailing list of disposable gimmicks. A decent set list of guitar-driven tunes, as well as many of the solid holdover features from the last game, amount to negligible compensation for the lack of meaningful additions. It looks like we'll have to wait at least a bit longer for a worthy successor to the Guitar Hero name.